Hello, my lovelies. Today I am a dinosaur. Yeah, let's put that down. I do love some dinosaurs. So my husband got me this new hoodie and I love it. Anywho, so we're going to go back to talking about ritual basics and the sort of entities, elementals, etc. that we need to connect with in order to begin our journey, our spiritual, pagan or heathen journey, whichever path that you're on. And we've already covered the elementals. We've covered the pentagram as a start. Now, bear in mind what I'm teaching you here is from the Wiccan path, which is a good place to start because it's kind of written down, set out, set words, etc., which is good to get you started because in many ways we are reconnecting with sort of forgotten practices that were just everyday back in the day, you know. I am all about modernizing the path, but modernizing doesn't just mean engaging with new. We still are engaging with the old energy, so knowing the history of it, that is important, but I don't want people to feel stuck in it, like they can't move on, like they can't do their own thing. So take what I'm teaching you, take what you've read in books, and please, I encourage you to pick and choose, in essence, modernize. So I hope some of what I've given you, some of the ideas I've given you, help you to understand and kind of see that. So the next part, and you know, I will briefly talk about the more modern perspective, is where we connect to male and female energy. Now here, of course, we have to be sensitive, and I certainly am because of my own gender identity. A gender identity is very different to biology. That much is accepted, I guess. But here we're talking about what creates life, and it needs one and the other, which are opposites, but together they make the whole. Man and woman. I don't know, male and female, semen and egg, they combine to create new life in all creatures across realms, I think. It is all about, really, scientifically and instinctively, about continuing our genetics, isn't it? So we are talking about genetics and biology here, and I don't mean to offend anybody when I talk about this, but it is important to connect with those two parts to create the whole. Now, I've said in some of my sabbats, if you don't feel comfortable celebrating female fertility, if you are trans, or you have some trigger points with that, you know, sort of PTSD trigger points, and you know, that I absolutely stand by. So if it's difficult for you, take it into the abstract, understand what we're dealing with is the creation of life. And so and therefore why we connect with the Lord and Lady is to create the energy to direct it toward what we need. So examples for your altar or for your practice. For the male, of course, anything phallic. This is my one of my aphimes that I was talking about, and this is my selenite aphime. And for the female, any sort of cup. This is another one of my mini horns. Let me just show that off there. And when you are calling them in, you're in essence bringing together what would create life. So you would bring the aphime or the phallic into the chalice or the womb. Okay. When I go through how to perform a ritual with all the pomp and ceremony, that part will become a bit more important. So male and female, they're gods and goddesses. When you start going down that track and you start to connect with specific energies, you may or may not find your patron. I very strongly connected with the likes of Frigg and Skadi when I was developing all those years ago. My connections, and with the male, Odin, of course, can be a bit difficult to work with, but also Kanunos, Jesus, are all male energies that you might find yourself connected with, and they all bring different parts, if you know what I mean. Odin, well known for wisdom, but also can be quite arrogant. Jesus too. Jesus well known for wanting to bring peace and tolerance to the world, but also he could be quite angry if people were doing it wrong, you know. So all of it, the fundamentals of all of it is balance. I say the courage to do, research and respect, intent and intuition, balance and breathe. That is my crib method, and it has worked for me and has worked for others I've taught it to. So I hope that helps a bit. You know, the masculine, of course, the semen, the seed, that would connect with Ingwas, male fertility, and fertility gods. Already mentioned, Kununos, Frey would be another one, who of course his aspect as Ing is what brings the rune Ingwas. For the female, Bacana represents full breasts, which is needed for nurture. So that's sort of like the after of the creation, kind of what Ingwas and I believe Perthro bring. So the three runes together, in essence, bring that life. Perthro being the dice cup, turn it on its side, it's the chalice, the womb. And so Ingwas and Perthro equal Bacana, in my mind. This is more for my rune thing, but anyway, so the goddesses you might connect with, Ostara, of course, for Easter, the female fertility, she who gave birth to Easter, you know, like Persephone is another one who comes back in Easter, the daughter of Demeter. Freya, even, the sister of Frey, female fertility goddess, and the Great Mother, of course. And if you don't feel comfortable or you're not connecting directly with any of those energies, we call them the Lord and the Lady. The Lord being just the male, and the Lady being just the female. Not that there's just anything, you know. And like I say, the reason we connect with those energies, the energy of the two that come together to create the whole, you know. So in the abstract, like I say, connect with perhaps plants, animals, birds. They all have that symmetry, male and female. But of course, there are also animals out there that are asexual, that create life in themselves, and they don't need to. So kind of cloning, I think, in effect. But all of those things, like I say, connect with the energies, connect with the deities, and most of all, connect with the nature around you. Might be a bit tricky this time of year because we are entering the rest period, you know, the breathe part of crib. But there is still life out there, albeit not really new life being born. So perhaps it might be better to get started on your Lord and Lady journey in spring, you know. But anywho, I hope I've helped you there. Like I say, Lord and Lady, male and female, we connect with them to understand what has to come together to create. And that's what it's all about, creating energy, or connecting with. Okay, so any thoughts, comments, as usual, get in touch, and I'll move on to the next one in a little bit. See you soon, Louise.